Shine with Kendéll Lenice. Real talk for real people. Let's shine together.
Allow me to introduce myself. Thank you for shining with me first and foremost every week on Shine with Kendéll Lenice. I am a certified transformational life coach, speaker, author, as well as a certified financial coach. Each week I hope to elevate you, educate you, and entertain you with our various guests and various topics here on Shine with Kendéll Lenice. Thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to tell a friend. And now on to this week's show. Hey everyone, welcome to Shine. I'm Kendéll Lenice, your host with the most. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight and every Wednesday live at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right at livingtruelivingyou.com. But don't worry if you're not catching this show live. You can catch Shine with Kendéll Lenice where all podcasts are played. Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spreaker, Spotify, and so many more podcast homes. If you don't know about podcasts, because I hear a lot of people say, well, you know, you have your section of people that love podcasts, listen to all of them like I do. I listen to a lot of other podcasts as well, not just mine. And then you have some people out there who've never heard of podcasts or don't even know where to find podcasts. So if you go to your cell phone, which I'm sure you have, you can download all the apps for free. So you can, if you have an Android, smooth, easy, simple, download Google Podcast. If you have an Apple Podcast, Apple phone, Apple product, iPad, iPhone, it's even simpler. You have the app logged right on your phone. It's already there. It came with it. It's like a purple emblem and it looks like, I guess like Wi-Fi, if I had to describe it, but it's a lavender app. And if you've never used it, you're probably like, what is this? So you will go right into either app and search Shine with Kendéll Lenice and you will find me and you'll see about 100 episodes. So on this show, I'm a life coach, so I will do some life coaching exercises, topics to make you better, wiser, more fulfilled, just like my new book. But I also have guests that will make you laugh, make you cry, make you think, push you to be better, broaden your horizons. So we're doing a lot on this podcast. I have a range of subjects and topics. So go back and listen to past episodes. That's the beautiful thing about podcasts. You can go back at any time and listen to all the other episodes. You can choose the ones you want. And if you love them, please share them. But most importantly, please subscribe. Wherever you listen to your podcast, please subscribe to Shine with Kendéll Lenice. It's a great help. That's how I get the publicity. That's how the word gets out about this podcast. And that's how I'm able to get paid sponsors. So do me a favor right now. If you haven't already, please subscribe to Shine with Kendéll Lenice. And don't forget to tell a friend. All right. I don't know if I wanted to say this before the show or after the show, but God is pulling me to say it now. So I'm doing this show on the heels of my father passing. He passed just a few days ago of leukemia. And right before he passed, he had a stroke that led him to the hospital. And once he had the stroke, he was unconscious. And 2 days after that, he passed away. So RIP to Robert T. Edwards, otherwise known as Bobby to a lot of people who loved him. So it's not always easy to deal with death, as everybody knows. So I don't want to talk about death on this show. I want to talk about being bendable, not breakable, sanity. That's what I want to talk about today. So that's what the topic is going to be. And it's not just how to deal with death or how to deal with loss. It's about how to deal with life. And people are like, well, you're still coaching? I just had a coaching client today. You're still doing your podcast? What I do fortifies me because it fortifies you. If I couldn't coach and speak and teach and do this podcast and really connect with you all, I'm not sure what I would do. I'm not sure if I could keep my sanity. Let's just be clear. So what I like to do is continue. Now, as a coach, if I were coaching myself, I would say you got to give yourself a chance for your heart to break, for you to cry, for you to be upset, for you to be, sad, for you to think of happy. Just allow yourself to feel the range of emotions you're feeling. So if I'm going to give that advice to someone else, I would definitely give that advice to myself. But you can't stop living. And a lot of folks out there lose someone and they jump into their work, or they do things that make them happy or make them smile, watch their favorite comedy, or, to call their funniest friend, and just really remember who you are, even through a tragedy or trauma or issue or problem. Just remembering who you are as a person, and most importantly, whose you are. And some things in life, point blank in the period, are just not fun. They're just not happy times. But you have to find a way to get back to yourself and think about lessons learned and blessings, and really know that life is only temporary. People don't want to hear that, but life is temporary and life is short. And it's even shorter if you're doing the things that you don't love. If you're living a life that you don't necessarily want to live. If you're unhappy, if you're miserable, that life is long. But if you're doing things that you love to do, your life does feel longer, but it doesn't seem longer. And what I mean by that is you're not going through every day like, oh, the light's shining again. Oh, I woke up to the sun. Now I got to go back to this job that I hate. Wake up to this wife or husband I hate. Talk to people I don't like. That's what makes it long. But if you're doing the things you love, then it feels long in a great way. But life is short, and you got to really look at that. So you want to kiss your loved ones. You want to tell your loved ones that you love them, and you want to surround yourself with people with positive energy, upbeat folks, people who help push you forward in whatever area of life you're in, and just really take the time to love on yourself. Be proud of yourself. Be thankful for your life. People always want to be thankful during Thanksgiving. But as I said, and I guess that was last week's show, that, you want to be thankful all year round. And I know you hear that all the time. Be thankful 365. But are you really? Or do you complain more than you thank God? Are you grateful? Or are you, a pessimist? Are you positive or are you negative? You got to think about those type of things, and think about, everybody's going to leave one day. Everybody's going to leave this earth one day, as hard as it sounds, as hard as it seems. But what are you going to do with the time you have here? Are you going to waste it being mad, miserable, lonely, upset, and confused? Or are you going to spend it being happy, grateful, positive, thankful, and have fun with the time you have? What are you going to do? And it's up to you to decide. You have the power over your life once you're here. You can wake up and decide to be miserable, or you can wake up and decide to be happy. Really, 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 the choice is up to you how you go about your day. You can allow someone to bring your entire day down, or you can decide to say, you know what, I'm not allowing that person or persons to break my spirit and penetrate through my soul and allow me to be miserable throughout the day. I was talking to someone today, and they said, as soon as I woke up, I allowed this person to do this to me, and it really messed up my day. And I said, you know what? I'm glad you said you allowed it. Because when you allow someone to get to you and really steal your power and steal your joy, That's something that you have to deal with yourself with. Like, why am I allowing someone to take me out of character, or to be miserable, or to be unhappy? Because you have the power of choice to decide, you know what? It doesn't matter that I stubbed my toe this morning. It doesn't matter that I got bad news this morning. It doesn't matter that I got 2 hours of sleep. It doesn't matter. Whatever it is that would typically cause you to have an attitude, be miserable and upset, you can decide, hey, I'm not going to do that. Now, I'm not saying it's easy, and I'm not saying it's going to happen overnight, but it's going to take some work, and it's going to take some time. But if you condition yourself and train yourself to think that way, then it might end up being better for you. So you really want to just, have a conversation with yourself and say, okay, well, what kind of life do I want to live while I'm here? What do I want to do, within 24 hours? What do I want to do each day? What do I want to do for 52 weeks of the year? Not saying it's all going to be exactly how you wanted it, but you can get your juices flowing and you can think about what you want for your life. And when somebody passes away, I teach this all the time. I believe that, I go around speaking about this. But when someone passes away, especially a parent, you think about that kind of stuff. Okay, life is precious. People, we're not immortal. For those of you that think you are, no one is. Nobody wants our loved ones to pass away, and we don't want to pass away. But unfortunately, that's the reality of life and how it was designed. So I'm going to take a quick break. When I say quick, I mean quick, and I will be right back. Thank you for shining with me, Kendéll Lenice. If you're here for the very first time, thank you for tuning in. Please subscribe to the show, and don't forget to tell your friends and family about Shine. We'll be right back. Are you stuck in a dead-end job or relationship? Do you lack motivation? Are you unhappy with the way your life is turning out? Do you have a difficult time achieving goals and reaching your dreams? Are you ready to get back to what's important? Do you want to just spice up your life? Are you at a crossroads in life and you don't know which way to turn? All of these things I can help you with. My name is Kendéll Lenice, and I'm a certified transformational life coach. For more information about my life coaching services, please visit livingtruelivingyou.com. Now back to the show. All right, and I am back. So with every show, I start with the life note. Today's show is no different. I'm going to take the life note. One moment. All right, it's time for this week's life note. All right, this week's life note. Life doesn't require that we be the best, only that we try our best. Life doesn't require that we be the best, only that we try our best. That's the life note for today. So with anything that you try new, if this is your first time saying, you know what, I'm going to be positive, I'm going to be this way, I'm going to be bendable, but not breakable. It's not that you're going to get it right the first time. It's not that it's going to be easy. But if you try your best to be a different person, to handle things differently. And it doesn't mean being a different person doesn't mean that something is wrong with you. Be a different person to be a better person, a better version of yourself. That's really what your goal should be daily. Yes, it should be that you want to be better than you were not only yesterday, but you want to be better than you were 5 minutes ago. Because if 5 minutes ago you acted a pure fool, then in the next 5 minutes you don't want to do that. So, and some things are minute by minute, hour by hour, day by day, week by week, month by month, year by year. And sometimes that's what you want to do. You want to look over your life and say, you know what? I was a mess last year. But look at me now. Or just last week, I was cussing and fussing and doing all kind of stuff. But look at me now next week. And somebody might say, well, it's only been a week, but it's an improved week. It's a better week. You got to crawl before you walk. You got to start somewhere. If you cuss like a sailor every single day of your natural born life, and there's one day that you don't curse, doggone it, that is progress. And that's what you're looking for. It's about progression. It's about progress. Practice doesn't make perfect. It makes progress. Because you're never going to be perfect. Who wants to be perfect? That's boring. All right. So today's show is all about the bendable and not breakable, keeping your sanity. So I just wanted to talk about resilience. I wanted to talk about why people break, why some people can deal with a lot and some people can't. So researching for this show and just knowing what I know about life and about mishaps and misfortunes and traumas, and everybody experiences something that rocks the boat, shakes the core, moves the mountains around you. Everybody has something that did that, and it's not a comparison thing where, well, this happened to you, well, this happened to me. If it's big to you, then it's big. Even if it's little to someone else, they don't matter when it comes to your feelings and how you do things. So what is resilience? And according to Psychology Today, adversity is a fact of life, as we know. Resilience is the quality that allows some people to be knocked down by life and come back at least as strong as before. It's rather than letting difficulties or failures overcome them, they drain their resolve. They find a way to rise from the ashes, just like a phoenix, y'all. Psychologists have identified some of the factors that make a person resilient, such as a positive attitude, being optimistic, the ability to regulate your emotions, which we'll talk about momentarily, and the ability to see the failure as a form of a helpful feedback. Research shows that optimism helps blunt the impact of stress on the mind and body in the wake of disturbing experiences. And that gives people access to their own cognitive resources, enabling cool-headed analysis of what might have gone wrong, what might have gone wrong, and consideration of behavioral paths that might be more productive. Resilience is not some magical quality. It's not something that's for, superheroes. Hey, they're resilient. I'm not. Everybody has resilience. It takes real mental work to transcend in hardship. We know that. But even after misfortune, resilient people are able to change the course of how they look at things. Everybody has the ability, y'all. I truly believe everyone has the ability to bounce back from a challenge. Now, it could take the wind out of you first, but you have the ability to bounce back. Resilience is about getting through pain and disappointment without letting it crush your spirit. That's what I'm talking about, of being breakable. Because when it's breakable, it's going to go to your core and it's going to penetrate you to the point where it breaks your spirit. And that's what I don't want from you. Yes, you can be bendable, meaning it's pulling you, it's tugging you, it's hurting you. You're feeling you're moving back and forth and up and down, and you don't know which way is up. You're allowing yourself to feel whatever you're feeling. You're bending, you're moving, you're human. But I don't want it to break your spirit. I don't want you to be breakable. It's important to be able to get through things in life by using emotional intelligence. And sometimes it's not easy to do that because as human beings, men and women, I'm going to say it again, men and women, because a lot of people got it twisted. They think just women are emotional and feel and all of that. But no. There are a lot of men out there who are emotional and who are very in touch with their feelings, and they feel this way too. So this is not a girly woman show or episode. I mean, some men out there feel what I'm saying right now, because there are a lot of men who are in touch with their feelings and who they are. 5 pillars. I just wanted to read to you 5 pillars of resilience, just in case you think you don't know how to be resilient. I guarantee you that you do know how to practice resilience. You may be resilient and not even know it. If you've gone through hell and back and came back around, experienced hell again, then came back, sat down for a minute, had a cup of tea, experienced some trauma, some tragedies, some issues, some bull crap, you're resilient. If you came back, think about what you've handled and then you got up and went to work the next day. Think about you being sick as a dog, not feeling well mentally or physically, and you got up and you went to that baby shower. You went to that wedding. You went to work. You went to a job interview after that. You went to go help somebody do something, this, that, and the third. You know, you got up and played with your children. You took your kids to college. You built a shed. You did whatever. Anytime you can get up out the bed and continue on about life, you're resilient. Anytime you've been knocked down under the bed, can't get up, knocked down on the street, face kicked with dirt, and you got up, you're resilient. So some people think, well, I'm not resilient. And I think that's because you don't realize the power of who you are and what you've been through and how you overcame. I think because it's become so common to you that you forget to celebrate you and say, you know what? I did that. Somebody else that went through that, they didn't make it, but I did that. That's resilience. So 5 pillars of resilience. Being self-aware. And that's what I was just talking about. Being self-aware, like, you know what? I did do that. And that goes in hand with mindfulness, being mindful of what you've done, how you've overcome, and what you did to do what you did as far as overcoming. That's being mindful of who you are and what you are and whose you are and what you've been through. Self-care is a pillar of resilience. Need I say more? You gotta be able to take care of yourself. You can't expect anybody else to take care of you if you don't even want to take care of yourself. How dare you disrespect yourself in that way and not take care of yourself? Self-care is definitely a pillar of resilience. Positive relationships. Do I have to explain that? In positive, now let me just say, relationships are not just romantic. They can be friendships. They can be kinships. They can be sisterhoods, brotherhoods, all of that. Relationships. That could be a boss and an employee relationship. But you want to have positive relationships. If you have toxic relationships around you, how are you going to feel like you're resilient? Because you got somebody breaking you, or you got people breaking you, or you got, people making you feel unworthy or less than. So how are you going to feel resilient if someone keeps telling you you're not? And purpose. What is your purpose? What is your passion? What do you want to do? Where do you see yourself? Because throughout everything, you want to have purpose over your life, or discover what your purpose is, or really just take the time to, if you don't know, it's okay not to know, but you want to try to figure it out. Because when you find your purpose, you find your reason, and you find your value. Okay? By strengthening these pillars, we in turn become resilient. So each day you want to work on being self-aware. I think that is key to so many different things, being self-aware. I cannot take a person, an adult, who is not self-aware. You don't know who you are. And when I say don't know who you are, you don't know what you're doing, what you're causing around you. You don't have a clue. My old school people, you know about Mr. Magoo, right? All you younger people, go to YouTube. I'm sure Mr. Magoo is on there causing havoc. But Mr. Magoo was not self-aware. He, bless his heart, he was half blind, little old man. He was driving the car. Everybody behind him was having accidents, crashing. And Mr. Magoo was just driving like nothing. Meanwhile, he was clearly not self-aware. He didn't know that he was causing a ruckus behind him, knocking over stuff, and he's just driving So you guys know Mr. Magoo. But in order to manage your feelings, it is essential to understand what is causing your feelings. Why? Why are you feeling this way? Why? What's making you feel this way? You want to always, and this is the thing, this is how you can break. If you lose control, you have to find a way to gather your thoughts, your feelings, and tackle one issue, one problem at a time. Bite-sized pieces, because if you're trying to take it all in, and if you're trying to eat a whole pie just by one bite, I made a sweet potato pie, sidebar. I might have to get me a piece, even though it's late. I might have to. Okay, back to the show. But you want to be able to, like, if you try to eat a whole pie in your mouth, I don't care how big your mouth is, can you put a whole entire pie in your mouth? No, you can't. You have to break it in bite-sized pieces, and you have to eat it that way. That's what you have to do with your issues, your problems, or your concerns. If you look at everything as a whole, it will drive you insane. Insane. Because you're looking at the big picture, and sometimes you have to look at the small little pictures, like a puzzle. So you see one piece, one piece, one piece, and that makes a whole. But if you look at the whole puzzle and it's already done, and then somebody takes it apart, you're like, how am I going to do all of that? But if you take piece by piece and you see an image on there, like, okay, this goes here. Okay, let me put that one here. Let me put that one here. And then next thing you know, you're like, dang, I did that whole puzzle. That was a whole thing. And I did that piece by piece, brick by brick, step by step. That's how you want to tackle your feelings and your problems. Because if not, the most sane person can go insane. Bottom line. All right. Excuse me. All right. So we want to become unbreakable, right? You want to be able to be unbreakable. You don't want to fall apart every time something happens. And some things are warranted where you just want to fall apart, fall on the floor, kick and scream. I get it. I understand. I know what that's like. But what's that going to do? And I'm just talking about anything, any issue, any problem, because some of the smallest issues will break somebody. Lose their job. Someone passes away. Those both affect your life tremendously. You broke your phone. Somebody right now is stretched out on the ground because they broke their phone. Somebody broke a nail. Lord, call the paramedics. Somebody broke a nail. Somebody is zapping out because they broke a nail. Somebody stubbed their toe this morning and they cussed everybody out in the house. And they feel like the world just ended. Somebody that's in school right now pressed send with their homework and it didn't go through. They lost everything. They lost their mind. I totally get that. I understand the frustration. But with everything, you can't just wild out. You got to be able to have some restraint and self-control. And that's not always easy. It's not. But you got to be able to find some level of rationale if you can. Because if not, you're going to be going crazy every single day. Because something is going to happen every single day. And again, remember what I said. We can't judge other people's. It could be something small or it could be something large that's life-changing. But how are you going to handle it? Are you going to break or you're just going to bend? You have to ask yourself that question. Think about the times where you felt like you were about to break, but you didn't. I'm just going to pause for a minute so you can think about that. Think about it. You thought that you were going to break, but you didn't. Now you were bending like Stretch Armstrong, but you didn't break. You might not have realized what you were dealing with when you were in it. But when you looked a month from then, a year from then, like, man, I felt this way. I felt that way. I never thought I was going to get through it. And now today it's a breeze. Think about it. You're resilient. You can get through whatever. It doesn't mean that you're going to forget, but you can get through it even when you think that you can't. All right. How do you want to become unbreakable? I'm going to give you 10 tips to create resilience. You want to accept the change is a part of living. Now, a lot of people don't like change. They don't want change. They don't want to see change happen in their life. They want to keep their lives as is. But when you realize that's the constant thing that's going to happen in your life is change, you're going to change your job. You're going to change where you live. You're going to change your car. You're going to change your friends in, out, side to side. People are going to pass away. That's going to be a change that you have to live with. You are going to get older. Your kids are going to leave. You may, whatever it is, you're going to change. Life is going to change around you. How are you going to handle that? You want to make effective decisions. That's another way that you can work on your personal resilience. Think about the decisions and choices you're making, and the outcome of those decisions. Think about that. Think about it beforehand and not when it's too late. I don't know about y'all, but I don't like to be forced to make a decision. I don't like when my back is up against the wall and you got to make a choice or decision. I would like to make a choice or decision when my back is not up against the wall. That way I can think clearly, I can think straight, and I can make an informed decision. Also, my favorite word, perspective. You want to keep things in perspective. You don't want to blow them out of proportion. You don't want to think negatively when you can think positively. You want to keep things in the context and of perspective. How do I want to look at this situation? What's really the issue here? And that's how you want to look at it. Look for ways to improve daily. That's a way that you can create more personal resilience. Change. Look at how you're looking at something. Think about it each and every day. How can you make it better? How can you work toward your goals? What kind of opportunities can you give yourself? What are you learning about yourself? Also, you want to avoid people who always bring problems. Avoid that. You know the people that I'm talking about, the people that every time you turn around, it's a problem, an issue, or concern. They ain't never happy. That's going to block a lot of your personal resilience, because one day you're going to snap. One day you're going to be like, you know what? I'm tired of this person coming up to me doing this, that, and the third. And that can cause you to break. Think about the people maybe that you work with, maybe they're in your family, maybe, even some of your friends are not so friendly people. Some people like to egg on, and some people like to agitate and poke the bear. And then I don't want you to feel like you have to snap and you're like, oh, I'm trying to get a better handle on my life. I'm trying to use emotional intelligence and this person won't let me. You won't allow it because you have the power over yourself. As I told you guys earlier, they don't have the power over you. Don't allow people to have the power over you. And you want to nurture yourself. That's another way you can become unbreakable. Nurture who you are. Nurture who you want to be. Surround yourself with people who you aim to be like. Now, I'm not saying nothing's wrong with you and you have to be like that person, but I'm sure you can pick one attribute out of everybody you know and say, okay, that person's kind. I can be more kind. That person's more driven. I can be more driven. That person really knows how to handle their business. Their business savvy is just off the chain. I can be a little more, business. Think about the attributes that people have and take one of them. Ask them, how did they get like that? If they say, I was born that way, well, what are some of the things that you do? And work on your business skills, work on your approach to life, because you might admire someone else's approach to life. Well, how come you can laugh all the time? How are you happy? How are you looking at things, with a positive eye and a positive mind? Somebody might be able to tell you. Hire a life coach like myself. I help people with this all the time. I think it's so important to teach what we know. Even if you're not a professional life coach like I am, you still have something to give someone else. So don't think that you don't, and don't allow someone to have you think that you don't. So I wrote down some of the things that when I talk to people and I listen to people, and I'm an observer, I'm a researcher, and I'm a person who's experienced life and know people who experience life on the personal side and the professional side. So why do people break? Why? Well, breakups break people, divorce, death, loss of job, everything going wrong at the same dang time. Every time you turn around, this, that, and that, and this, and this, that, and that, what, everything is going wrong. Lack of money. People break when there is no money. Think about it. You can't pay your rent. You can't eat. Can't put gas in your car. That makes somebody feel like they want to break. And also someone that doesn't have a plan for the future, or they don't know what the future holds for them. They don't know what their purpose is. They don't know what they're passionate about. Sometimes people break. So imagine now, if you had a breakup, you had a death in your family, you lost your job, everything is going wrong, you ain't got no money, you ain't got no hope for the future. Tell me that person's not going to break. But that's why I'm trying to catch you now. You can bend. Bending means that you're going through it, but you can overcome it. You're bending because one more thing, I'm a break. That's what people say. But bend. Learn how to bend. When you squat, there's a certain way that you squat. There's a certain way that you bend down to pick something off the floor. There's a proper way to do that. If you don't believe me, look it up. There's a proper way to bend. You don't just bend with your whole back over, because you can hurt your back. So you have to learn how to bend the right way. And that's what I'm trying to tell you. Learn how to bend the right way and not allow that to break you. You don't want anything to break your spirit, because your spirit is who you are. Once that spirit is broken, you can become broken. It doesn't mean that you can't be put together again. But I don't want you to have a nervous breakdown, because sometimes it's hard to come back from that. So I want to teach you how to bend and not break. But I also wanted to give you 12 signs you might be having a nervous breakdown. And as I was researching for the show, I definitely wanted to add this in. So before we end, I just want to, and what website is this? This is in a business website. I'm not sure what this is from. But 12 signs that you're having a nervous breakdown. You have no downtime. And I'm reading this. This is word for word. So these here aren't my words. You have no downtime. You feel like you're rushing from one thing to the next with no space to catch your breath. Number 2, normal feelings feel unmanageable, struggling with things like what breakfast cereal to choose, unloading the washing machine, are all signs of cortisone overload. This can be hand in hand with lack of concentration, and focus. Well, number 3, and I'm going to read them quickly because we're approaching the end of the show. You're withdrawing socially. It's logical to want to isolate yourself when you're feeling overwhelmed. You want to avoid further stimulation or anything that feels like effort. Maybe you always don't want other people to know how you're feeling. That was number 3. Then it skips to 5, but I'm going to continue. You can't sleep. The body metabolizes stress hormones when you sleep. So insomnia prevents you from resetting your stress levels. This means it takes very little to tip you into a stress overload panic zone. Next, escape fantasies. You're caught in a cycle of thinking this is all too much to cope with and you need a way out, while another part of your brain is telling you, I must carry on. I can't give in. If I just try harder, I will get on top of it. Next, you're having panic attacks. Prolonged feelings of anxiety can lead to overwhelming feelings of fear that seem to come out of the blue. Once you've attacked, worried, and thought about the issue, it can be bad for your mental health that panic attacks have themselves. So they're saying once you have a panic attack and from that anxiety and those feelings, then that can lead to other issues, health issues. Coming near. All right, extreme mood swings. 1 minute you're feeling good, then something small makes you sad, and you have all kind of worry and irrational thoughts. You're self-sabotaging. People do this a lot. I see this a lot as I coach folks. This could be abusing drugs or alcohol, the way you treat people around you, or the way you do your job. Number 9, you feel like a failure. You may know at some level it's not your fault, but emotionally you feel like you failed. Number 10, loss of hope. You might experience thoughts of suicide or just helplessness. You feel numb. Some people on the cusp of breaking down report not feeling much of anything. You might stop caring about how you look, lose interest in activities you've always enjoyed, or isolate yourself from your friends and family. Number 12, you feel isolated. You have a sense of having to deal with all your problems by yourself. All right. I know a lot of people out there are feeling that way. 12 signs you might be headed for a breakdown. Of course, I'm doing this show because I don't want you to have a breakdown. And I know for some it's easier said than done, especially if you're already dealing with emotional issues or some type of mental illness, whether it's depression, anxiety, or what have you. But I want you to seek help, to get help. Contact professionals, contact your friends and your family. Just know that you don't have to deal with anything alone. And just know that you are powerful beyond measure. You can get through anything. You just have to believe in yourself, and you have to know. And sometimes nobody else will believe in you, but I believe in you, and I hope you believe in yourself too. Think back to the times you were resilient, when you thought that you weren't going to make it through whatever it was, but you were able to smile again. That's what it's about. Put on a silly movie. Call some of your funniest friends. Watch something, listen to something, read something that makes you happy. Remember, you can bend, but don't break. You are valuable, you are worth it, and it's temporary. Whatever you're going through, it's temporary. Your feelings of emotion, loss, concern, confusion. Just pray, believe, and get through it. Thank you so much for tuning in to Shine with Kendéll Lenice. For more information about me, visit livingtrue.com. I love you guys, and I mean it. We're all in this together. Let's shine together. God bless.
Shine with Kendéll Lenice. Real talk for real people. Let's shine together.